On Friday, we caught 500 ticks on NAS, or 50 ticks, or 5,000, however your trading view measures it. My point is, I knew NAS was gonna push up, and I'm gonna show you why comments from Trump are the reason that this trade played out as nicely as it did. My name is Josh Pavao, full-time trader. I'm the owner of Day Trading University. We've helped over 25,000 traders and counting. A good example here is Rawi. This screenshot is actually from our live trading call of the trade that I'm breaking down in this video. We took this trade on Friday. You can see Rawi said right here, I'm done for the week, up $15,000 this week. Solid end for him trading with us. So let's start with giving you some context. The day before, Thursday, you can see the date right here, June 12th. These headlines came out at 8:02 p.m. Eastern time. We take a quick look at this. It says, Israeli Minister of Defense declares a special state of emergency in the home front throughout the entire state of Israel. And then you can see right here, a missile and drone attack against Israel and its civilian population expected in the immediate future. This was the initial start of an attack. When something like this happens, it causes market fear. And fear has a very specific impact in the markets. Let me show you on NAS what happened at 8:02 p.m. Eastern time, right? So we can see the exact same time those headlines came out, this is when Nasdaq dropped. When else would you be looking for a drop like this during Asian session? Like, you can't deny that the headline is what caused this drop. Okay, so we can see that Nasdaq actually dropped, but why does fear actually make Nasdaq drop? Because NAS is what's called a risk asset. And I know most people have probably heard that gold is a safe haven, but what is a risk asset? I want you to pretend that gold is an armored truck. It's slow, it's heavy, but it's built to protect its cargo at all costs. Then you can think of Nasdaq as a high-performance race car. When the sun is shining and the road is perfectly smooth, meaning the economy is strong and investors are optimistic. In that case, that race car is exactly what you want to be driving. It can get you to your destination of profit much faster than the slow armored truck can. But what if we get a tropical storm outside? We are entering hurricane season, and it's not uncommon for us to get flash floods down here in Florida. So now it's too risky for me to be in that race car. That's the Nasdaq. By the way, you like our little Monopoly Man race car driver? It's a little badass. Anyways, Nasdaq, it's packed with innovative tech and growth companies, so it's the race car of the market. So when those headlines about the attack were announced, it was like a flash flood hitting the markets. Investors immediately stopped driving their race cars, which are the risk assets like Nasdaq, causing that sharp initial drop you see here. They'd rather be in the safe armored truck until the storm passes. So basically, when Nasdaq drops like this, you're actually just watching order flows leaving risk assets, which is Nasdaq dropping, and going into something else like safe havens. Understanding which car to be in based on the weather forecast is a huge part of what's called sentiment analysis, which is really just understanding if the markets are in a good mood or a bad mood. So going into today's trading session, basically I just want to be cautious if we get any headlines from Trump. And I was even saying that during the live call, because I saw headlines from Trump talking about it. So I want to confirm like his stance. The reason it's important to pay attention to this is because basically I want to know is the US going to get involved? What is Trump's stance on this? Did he know about it? Because that's going to determine if we see that market fear or that market optimism, which for me, that's going to determine if I'm taking buys on Nasdaq or sells on Nasdaq. So I'm going to be very cautious today, and I'm going to be looking to see if we had any headlines from Trump while I'm trading. Okay, my point is, what I was trying to show you is that when you can go back and look at this if you want. Maybe I'll send a screenshot if you guys really want to see it. So I didn't have time to show it to them on the live call because we were actually trading. But this is what I was talking to them about. When the Russia-Ukraine war happened, I was trading US 30. And this is the drop right here. It was Wednesday, February 23rd, Asian session, that this drop happened. During New York session, the next day, we can see that we just consolidated here. And I knew that we were going to consolidate because during this time, during New York session, right after the stock exchange opened, we got a headline that said, Biden is going to make an announcement at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock later in the day. So literally, I was trading US 30 with Day Trading University, and I told them, I was like, let's end the live call, and we're gonna come back when Biden speaks so we can see what he has to say about the war. And this is what happened. He came out and said, this is not our war, have fun. That would be the opposite of what I just showed you before, right? That would be market optimism. We now know we're not getting involved. So if before, when the initial shock happens, US 30 sells or Nasdaq sells, now when that fear is removed, what do you think you do? When he comes out and says, we're not going to war, it's not ours, take a look at what US 30 did. you can see US 30 took off. And if I look down here, you can see the time in the bottom, right? 1300, 1 o'clock. It's exactly when he was speaking. Why else would US 30 take off at the same time when the president says it's not our war? Just like the headline on Thursday that came out when the war came out, US 30 dropped. It's the market fear that's causing them to drop, and then the market optimism that's causing them to go up. And literally right before the stock exchange opens, Trump starts making posts and comments, which the markets react to. You can see it right here. Trump to Wall Street Journal says, an attack would be great for the market because Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. The US was aware of Israel's plan to attack Iran? Okay, so yeah, like I said earlier, the post that Trump made, he's on Israel's side for it. I still think there's a chance that the markets go risk on. Now, this is a big deal to know that Trump's on Israel's side for it because they're the ones that did the bombing. Everyone else was surprised. And now Trump comes out and says, not a big deal. I knew about it. Now, I'm not condoning or I'm not getting into the political side. I'm talking about what do I think the markets are going to do because I'm a trader and that's what I care about. This is where Nasdaq was when that headline from Trump came out. Where do you think Nasdaq ended up in the next 5-minute candle? The stock exchange isn't even open yet. There's no other reason to expect volume to come in until after the stock exchange. And this is what the next candle does, right? A massive push on Nasdaq at the exact same time that Trump says, not a big deal. This stuff isn't a coincidence. So to break down this trade, there's a lot of different areas I could have entered, right? Here is where I wanted to enter. I would have been happy with that. Now, unfortunately, with my rule, I didn't want to enter here. Yeah. So one of my rules is I really don't like to take trades right before the stock exchange opens or like right before really important data. So I was watching this play out. I had such a strong feeling it was going to play out. And I ended up not entering because it's just one of my rules. Because if this pulled back or something else happened while Trump was still talking, I would have been really upset for breaking my rule. So lesson learned, I'll do it next time, but this is where you gain the experience, right? So I entered somewhere up here and I ended up taking, I can't remember, I took partials up and then I closed the rest, whatever it was, but really beautiful trade. One of my biggest takeaways from this is like, even if you missed the move yesterday, right? Like we had this massive drop on NAS and it would have been good to be in it. My phone was blowing up with day trading university students asking me what happened to NASDAQ. I was outside walking my dogs. I missed the whole trade. So of course it's possible. You're not gonna catch every single trade, but if you see this, go investigate why it happened, right? Because knowing that this happened yesterday is exactly why I knew to take the buys on NASDAQ or US 30 at the exact same time that those headlines from Trump came out. Because if I didn't know what happened yesterday, how would I know that those headlines from Trump even mean anything? This is what leaves so many traders lost in the dark when you're just looking at technical analysis. You're literally at the mercy of one tweet to just destroy your account. And to me, it's not worth not paying attention to that stuff if I want to stay profitable. And this is what I mean by trading fundamentals. We're not reacting or guessing, we're anticipating. And we did the same thing on gold buys earlier in the session. If you want to go check out that video, I did a full breakdown on it. You can check it out right here.